Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. It has been a pleasure to listen to all the questions and to participate in this very, very interesting experience. Thank you also for allowing me to vote. I don't know if it was possible, but I have voted on some of the points, thanks to a credit card I got from the chairman.
This is an ID card.
I would like to say that it is extremely important that we have a very open and a very frank discussion on the biggest challenge which we have ahead of us. And the biggest challenge that we have ahead of us is ensuring this competitive, sustainable, this new model of growth which has been mentioned, because the circular economy is above all about changing the economic model, closing the loop, changing from the linear traditional model to this more sustainable process where whenever you are designing your product, you are consuming, you are producing, and then when you are recycling, you have this virtuous circle which can bring economic, environmental, and significant social benefits for our companies and for our citizens. The circular economy is also about skills, about innovation, about growth, about jobs, about industrial policy, because Europe needs more industry, and this is also something very important. I will try to answer the questions, but there were many, some of them a little bit more difficult than others, but I will do my best. First of all, je voudrais m'adresser à notre collègue français qui a posé la question de cette entreprise digitale et les produits labellisés. Et il disait qu'il faut changer les modèles, il faut que l'Union européenne ne considère pas seulement des questions réglementaires, mais qu'on regarde des mesures volontaires. Et je voudrais marquer mon accord avec son affirmation. L'Europe doit promouvoir l'innovation, nous devons travailler sur des modèles, sur des mesures volontaires, sur les standards, sur la écolabellisation des produits, sur la éco-conception, sur les éco-audits, pas nécessairement de règles contraignantes, mais un ensemble intelligent de mesures qui peuvent nous amener à ces changements de modèle. Following that, I would like to answer the question of our Italian colleague from the Chamber of Commerce, who was putting on the table a very important point. Should we have more environmental information about the companies, and could the Chambers of Commerce play a role in this sense? And should the Commission propose something at European level? I think this is an issue which is very important. We have seen the vote on, is it likely that there will be more interesting green products? Information on the sustainability of companies is increasingly important. Sharing this information, using the Enterprise Europe network, using the Chambers of Commerce, it is a very important experience. But before proposing a European regulation on this, I would like to see if this can be developed on a voluntary basis by the Chambers of Commerce. Our colleague from Bulgaria, number 78, was asking for EU institutions to be more business-friendly, to go for simplification of rules, to cut administrative burden, and I would like to reassure him this is the way in which we are trying to go. We are reviewing systematically European legislation, we are doing fitness checks, we are consulting before changing new rules, we are doing impact assessments, but we need to do more. And we need to know from you which are the areas in which there are problems so that we can improve the quality of legislation. Nuestro amigo de Iberdrola se refería al desafío del cambio climático y al grave coste que tiene para la Unión Europea la cifra de 400.000 muertes prematuras al año, y el gran papel que puede jugar la electricidad en la agenda mundial de descarbonización. Después del Acuerdo de París es esencial. Quisiera felicitar a Iberdrola por esa iniciativa innovadora ciclista de ir hasta la COP22 a Marrakech en bicicleta para luchar contra el cambio climático. Creo que estas iniciativas simbólicas también ayudan mucho en esta agenda, pero quisiera decirle que en las dos medidas que proponía, promover inversiones y el principio del que contamina paga, son dos principios fundamentales. El plan Juncker, Horizonte 2020, la iniciativa de reforzar la inversión de cubrir el déficit de 500.000 millones de euros que tenemos en Europa respecto a la precrisis con estos fondos es importantísimo, y el principio del que contamina paga está en el tratado. Y Europa, y tiene razón, debe liderar el cambio en este ámbito, no solamente porque es fundamental para nuestro planeta, sino porque hay grandísimas oportunidades comerciales para nuestras empresas. I would like now to turn to question number 310, which dealt with sustainable growth and the implications for SMEs, but more particularly the issues of access to markets. Here I have a different view because our colleague was saying that he was seeing concerns for SMEs out of the trade agreements. I would like to say that trade agreements are also an opportunity. Opening up markets bring opportunities for our companies, and I think that we should also integrate this in our analysis. Internationalization is one of the ways for companies to grow. There are opportunities, and I think we should do more, and we should connect better value chains, and I think we should not look at this always from a negative viewpoint, because there are also important challenges, and in many trade agreements, SMEs can be the big winners. But we have to negotiate on a balanced conditions. We should not give more than we get. And this is, I think, the challenge. We need to make sure that the trade agreements are balanced and that the rules of the game are fair. Our German colleague, number 682, was wondering about the internal market and recycling, and in particular the extension to 24 months from 6 months in the extended producer responsibility schemes. I would agree with the intervention in the sense that we should try not to overburden the business, but I think also it is important to highlight that extended producer responsibility can play a role with minimal requirements, which is what we put, with incentives, and that take-back schemes are also a source of business opportunities. So I think we have to integrate this, and of course the Commission's proposal are under discussion, and we are happy to see whether in the discussion we have to move from 6 to 24 months. We see exactly how the discussion goes. Our colleague from Ireland, number 179, and the Chamber of Commerce, was saying that sustainability is not only environmental, it is economical, it is social, it is environmental, and that the EU should be leading on the circular economy without additional bureaucracy for SMEs. Your words were music to my ears. This is what we have to do. This is what is behind the strategy for the circular economy, and I think we need to work together, European institutions, member states, companies, regions, to make sure that we can succeed in this difficult challenge. Our colleague number 240 from Greece, I think your name, Pablos, was mentioning the difficulties of access to finance in Greece, and I think we are very much aware about this problem. He was highlighting the importance of microcredits, and I would like to say, in situations of difficulty of access to finance, we need to mobilize national funds, European funds, and we need also to fight against delays in payment, because this is also a source of problems for the companies. We have venture capital, which we have to promote. We have the COSME program, Horizon 2020, the role of regional funds. This is a very important effort, and the improvement of economic conditions should also lead to an improvement of credit. Question number 18 from Austria was about the green economy in Austria, and how do we promote renewable energy to make sure that it takes into account the costs. And I think on this point, you are putting your finger on a very important issue. What we have to avoid is to prevent national subsidies that distort and restrain from sending the wrong message to investors. And one of the best ways to support renewable energy is by getting energy prices right. And it is by phasing out subsidies and other support to certain sources of energy which are not in the right direction in the process of decarbonization. We believe that there is also opportunities for innovation, and that support schemes should be as much as possible market-based and well-targeted to the energy sources that really provide benefits for the whole society. And renewables is essential in our strategy. Our colleague from Latvia, number 318, was raising two issues in relation to management and to management of waste. The problem of municipal companies going up and private companies going down, I think we need both. We need municipal, but we need a lot of private companies that can develop because there are business models and new opportunities in this area. And he was also mentioning the problems of unfair competition with China. And I would like to reassure him in the sense that the Commission is trying now to take strong measures, trade defense instruments, whenever we see that there is unfair competition. Whenever we have complaints, we need to take action. We need to have a more balanced trade policy, and I think it is extremely important that we integrate it in our strategy. Our colleague from Turkey was at the back speaking about durability and the situation of candidate countries, and this was also echoed by our colleague from Albania. I think in relation to candidate countries, it is very important not to wait for all the negotiations, but to start looking at European rules and to start adapting and aligning the legislation in this area. This will facilitate trade, this will reduce the barriers, and I think we need to look at the whole range of measures, from energy, from raw materials, the situation of banks, all play an important role. Our colleague from Germany was complaining about legal uncertainty and imbalance in energy sectors. I think the Energy Union initiative tries to address this. Europe needs to have an energy union if we want more affordable, more competitive and more sustainable energy. And finally, para terminar, quisiera concluir con la pregunta número 429 de nuestro colega español, que abogaba por un mercado interior fluido, en el que no se puede competir si somos víctimas de la fragmentación. Y decía, con toda la razón, que las interconexiones son clave. No se puede tener un mercado interior si algunas regiones de Europa son islas energéticas. No se puede tener energía abordable y competitividad para las empresas si en vez de tener un mercado único tenemos 28 mercados fragmentados. No se puede tener seguridad de aprovisionamiento si en vez de beneficiarnos del potencial del poder de compra de 500 consumidores, cada país negocia por su cuenta en condiciones peores que las que si negociáramos unidos. So, in conclusion, I would like to say that I am very encouraged by all the questions, by the debate. I see the circular economy and sustainable development, as many have said, as a great opportunity for Europe. But in order to succeed, we need to work together. Thank you very much.